Hey, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Wednesday, the 10th of September, I think it is. Glad to see you. Glad you're here with me. Go grab a cuppa if you like and join me. I'm having a good cup of tea here in my mug, and just thinking about life, thinking about how we acknowledge the things. Last Saturday, Rob and I went out to the first preseason game of the Brandon Wheat Kings. We are season's ticket holders, and we have friends that I work with. That he and his wife and his son are season ticket holders right beside us, and we were all five of us gathered for the game, watching as these young guys are out there fighting for a spot on the Wheat Kings Junior A hockey team. And the guys whose seats are solid, the ones who aren't trying out anymore but know they have a spot. They were up in the rink off to the right of us in their suits and watching everything going on. And the players are so young. I know they're 18, 19, 20 years old, but I'm feeling my age these days. They do not look the same as they did 30 years ago. As a matter of fact, they do. It's just me who doesn't look the same as I did 30 years ago. But I got thinking about what we were doing. We were there to have fun. We were there to cheer on our team and figure out the new players and who they might be. But the reality is that those players who were gathered were there to make their mark. They were there to show off their skills, to say to the coaches, I may not be the best one on the ice, but this is why you need me on your team. And that's important because we all have to have a reason to try. If we just all skated through life never having to try hard, if everything just came so easily, or even if it didn't come easily but people just gave it to us, there would be no impetus to do anything better. There has been a lot lately of conversation about the healthcare in the States, and I don't want to get into that, but a lot of conversation about the real push that the president at that time during COVID, I can't remember what it's called, but the operation, March 4th or whatever it is, the thing to really push the finding of a COVID vaccine, which I'm going to respectfully disagree was a completely American thing. Yes, the Americans did a wonderful job of really speeding up and encouraging the research and the coming up of the mRNA research that would help to find um, a COVID antidote. That's not the word I'm looking for, is it? Vaccine. But around the world, people were doing that as well. And I think really what happened was we came across something that the world said we need to set aside our competitions and we need to work together towards something. And hence the vaccines came really, really quickly. And then all of the other incredible work and research that was being done could speed up as well, which is incredible. But we need that push. We need that something that's going to happen to get us moving forward. For the Brandon Wheat Kings tryouts and the training camp, it's that getting out there and proving that you want me on a very limited number of people who can stay on the team. You want me. You don't want to cut me. You want to hang on to me. In the world of COVID, it was we want to keep people alive, things like that. But in the average world, most of us are not going to be trying out for a junior A hockey team. And most of us are not, we hope to God, are not going to have to deal with what happens with another pandemic. But we do need those little things to help us keep pushing forward. And as much as it would be lovely to think that we don't really need, we don't really need recognition of what we've done right. The truth is we do. We need an attaboy. We need a pat on the back once in a while that says you've done a good job. We need someone to say, I believe in you. And we know that because we do this from time we are children. I came across this when I was setting up my office here. This is my Girl Guide sash. I flew up from Brownies and I had my religion and life badge, level 2, I believe it was. And then I had my, this is world, learning about the world and things like that. And this is my fireman badge. And this is my health badge, I believe it is. This is, I think this might have been my helping badge. This would be all about Canada. This was baking. That one was fun. This was about law. This might have been cooking. This was baking. This one was the drama one, and this one was fishing. My dad took me fishing in a stocked pond. I had to like put my worm on my own hook and everything. Um, and then we had, this is the year that they introduced these ones where these were badges that were overarching their topics. I'm not remembering what they were, but, and then what you would do is you would, when you've got parts of that, then there were four pieces that would be sewn onto here. So they were other things. I was only in guides for a little while because we moved again. We kept moving. Um, but this, we used to have them on our sleeves, and then they introduced them on a sash. And this I've kept because it's very meaningful to me. For every badge that's here, I got to not only read a book, because I had to read and research things and follow the handbook, the Girl Guide handbook that said what was required for those. I learned for each of those things because each of them, each badge had tick boxes. Like for this, you must do A, B, C, and then one of these, they three things. And you have to do X, Y, and Z in one of these things. And so I had to do them. And in every badge, some of these things I had to do were independent. Like for cooking, I had to make, and I hope to God they've changed this, because I remember doing a cooking class, my cooking badge for brownies. So I was less than 8 years old. This is my Girl Guide sash. I had something similar, only we, as I said, we put them on our sleeves for brownies. And for cooking for brownies, I remember I had to make breakfast for my family, and it dictated what you had to make. It was bacon and eggs. I was barely taller than the stove, and I was making bacon and eggs. How the house didn't burn down, I do know. But you see, every one of these, there were certain things we had to do by ourselves. We had to, for baking, for the cooking, I had to figure out how many eggs I would need to crack, and I had to crack them by myself. I had to make sure I had enough bacon. I had to make the toast and butter it and do all those things. But then there were other things, like I had to go shopping, excuse me, with my mom to make sure I had the bacon and the eggs, because part of this was understanding the economy part of how do you do this. Egg, bacon, and eggs just don't grow on trees. You don't go in your backyard and find them. You have to make a list and go to the store, find them, figure out how to buy them, check to make sure the eggs aren't broken, make sure you're getting the right kind of bacon. You have to pay for them. Like all the steps involved in getting these badges. That I had to do, lots of that I had to do by myself. Then there were parts like the actual standing at the stove. I had to do it, but I had to do it with someone else. Some things I had to do by myself, and other things I could not get the badge if I hadn't already done them with help. Meaning I had to work in community. And that's really important. There really isn't anything in our lives that we do completely by ourselves, nor are there very many things in our lives that we do completely with other people. It's a back and forth. It's an interdependent relationship. In order for us to be able to do the things that we feel we're called to do next, we need one another. The weak kings, they have to play with each other while also trying to prove that they are good enough to be chosen for the team. They can't be hot dogs out there doing it by themselves, or they don't show team spirit. But they also can't do nothing by themselves, or they don't show initiative. They need both. The thing is, the same thing with the COVID vaccines, the same thing with anything that we do in life. It's good to have things that show us that we've accomplished, making the team, creating the vaccine, getting an attaboy, getting a pat on the back, getting a badge that shows, or a certificate that says, hey, you graduated from this, or you successfully completed this level of this training. It's important that we have the outward and visible sign of the things that we have learned to do, because they are a reminder to us when things are more difficult, when things are tough, or it looks like we're not going to make the team, or the vaccine's not going to work. It reminds us that we need to keep trying. That's, I think, why I keep this sash. I don't need it. I don't have a daughter in Girl Guides who could use it or anything like that. But it's a reminder to me, not only of the fun that I had, but the fact that I did work. I did good work. I tried hard. I worked with other people. I learned and I served, and I became the person. I am becoming the person God has called me to become. And it started with things like this. We all need to recognize that we need each other, but we all need to work hard at doing what God has called us to do. And in the end, we may not get a badge, or we might, but we will have the knowledge and the truth that we succeeded. We all need that, don't we? For whatever it is you take on today, remember, out there, somewhere, there is a badge or a certificate or something or someone that will say good, well done, even if you have to make it yourself. And then that you can get your sewing badge. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you, and I will see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.